What's up, guys? It's G here, and welcome back to the Grizzly Life podcast. In this episode, Colton shares some recent updates on Priority Fitness, talks about his carnivore diet progress, including trying out an egg fast, and talks about someone new he recently connected with, someone a few of you may know of. New episodes drop every Tuesday and Thursday, so make sure to subscribe, follow, and turn on notifications. Now let's get into episode 25 of the Grizzly Life podcast.
Yo, what is going on, guys? Today is episode 25 of many. Slowly but surely getting through this. Our goal is to never stop this kind of every Tuesday and Thursday type thing. I'm sure it'll evolve, it'll change. We're still working on getting some quotes on getting some projects done in our podcast studio. Of course, everyone's busy and nobody's been able to kind of come and look at the stained concrete. We want to do the floor first, so that way we can get into painting the walls and all that stuff. So if you know anybody who can do some stained concrete work for us, that would be awesome. But anyways, we're chugging along on the podcast studio. That is our goal to accomplish here sooner than later. Then we can get into the video aspect of this podcast. We can get into our interviews, our guest hosts, or our guest speakers, all that kind of stuff. So excited to get to that point, because I really do want to practice talking in front of the camera and get you guys some really cool stories, because I know everybody loves to hear the stories. That's the cool stuff. So today, I don't have a whole lot to necessarily go over, but first thing is going back to kind of the Grizzly Life mentality or the Grizzly Life mindset. It could always be worse. Of course, yesterday we're on the road. We had a big job for Priority Fitness down in Greene County, the Greene County YMCA. Down in Monroe, Wisconsin, about 2 hours and 15 minutes from where we're at. We were heading down there. We just got around the Madison area, and of course, this lady pulls up next to us on the highway, and she's rolling her window down. She's getting real close to us, and we're kind of, mind you, I'm driving the F-350 in the big red trailer. We're veering over towards her so we can hear what the hell she's saying, because it's noisy, obviously, so there's not a whole lot we can do to hear. But she's saying something back there, isn't right or whatever. I'm like, okay, great. I can't see anything. And we've had some weird stories, right? Like our ramp door on trailers before has literally just like snapped off. On one of the rentals we used to rent from here in town, it was just all rusty, and the door actually would always fall open because of like one of the latches was just not secure properly. And so we'd be going down like a highway or a back road with like our door just like bouncing off the ground, and we had no idea, because a 26-foot trailer, you really can't see behind you until you turn like 90 degrees. So we've had some pretty strange things happen on the road. So this lady's yelling at us, hey, there's something behind you, or whatever, something's wrong. We're like, okay, great. I kind of thought the door thing right away, which didn't really make a whole lot of sense, because our door is pretty heavy, but I thought maybe somebody forgot to latch something or close something. So, because mind you, the trailer's pulling fine. Like, we couldn't really notice anything. We didn't feel anything, didn't see anything. And so we pulled off in the next exit, and I could tell once I turned, like 45 degrees, I was like, oh, fuck, we got a flat tire. We actually had like no tire at all. So I'm like, great, we've, down another tire. And I don't know if you guys remember, but the last time I drove for Priority Fitness in the trailer, I got a flat tire that time as well. So we get off in the exit, we've got a flat tire. I said, was not happy at first, but we kind of pulled off, went down the exit, and then kind of found like this vacant bank parking lot right away. So we got there and we get out and assess the situation a little bit better. This is a pretty big trailer. It's, the axles are rated for 5,000 pounds, so they're a little bit bigger than a standard trailer. And it's a car hauler trailer. It's like a 26-footer as well. So we look at the tire that is no longer there, and it's a dual axle. So the one tire that's there is actually holding up enough where the rim was never actually ever on the ground. So the rim was fine. The tire was completely gone. But again, this is kind of it could always be worse mindset, right? Like, we look at it. We assess the situation. It's raining. It's crappy outside, but at least we're safe. At least nobody got hurt. And I'm not even really kind of going towards that mindset. I'm just going towards like, maybe everything happens for a reason. Maybe it could always be worse. We could have gotten 2 flat tires. The trailer could have came unhitched and gone across the highway, whatever. Just kind of try to keep a positive attitude, I guess, is where I'm going with that. But so to kind of wrap the story up, we called Pomp's Tire. We have a spare tire for this trailer, but this is a car hauler trailer. So there's actually like a holding spot inside the trailer that you just lift up a little trap door, and the spare tire's in there. Well, we packed the trailer full of boxes and dumbbells and crates of stuff, and there was no way that we were going to be able to access our spare tire. Side note, moving forward, we're going to get that spare tire mounted on the outside of the trailer, so it's super easily accessible. But anyways, so we're like, you know what? And we weren't sure if we had a good spare tire in there or a bad spare tire, because we had an issue with this trailer like a year and a half ago, and we just couldn't remember if we had a good spare in there or not. So we called Pomp's Tire. They said 30 to 45 minutes. They got there in, I think it was like 29 minutes or 28 minutes, which felt like forever. Of course, they start taking the lugs off, and there's a special, like the locking lug nuts, right? Or like the special key that you need to take these other lug nuts off. We did not have that special lug to take that off, of course. And if we did, it would have been in that spare tire area that was just not accessible to us anyways. But I also kind of figured the company that calls themselves the Tire Professionals would have kind of like a master set that could take off any lug. But I don't know how crazy that world is as far as how, like, the lugs, if they're a million different kinds, if there's 25 different kinds, I'm not really sure, but I still figured they'd have some kind of like master tool that could kind of help us with that, or something rigged up. So anyways, we're roadside, took them 30 minutes to get to us, and then we ended up sitting there for another 2 hours because they couldn't get the rim off, and then there was just like two chunks of tire left on there, basically like not the top of the tire, but the sides of the tire, right? So the right side and the left side, or the inside and the outside of the tire, like just a circled donut was basically on there on both sides, because the rest of the tire was just gone. So they got like a little tool out and they're cutting the rubber off. That took them a while to do. But then finally, and I was kind of thinking, and I'm like, could you just put the tire on while it's jacked up in the air and like the rim's still on? Like, do you really need to take the rim all the way off? And sure shit, that's what they did. They cut the tire off, they threw the new tire on there, and got us all good to go. So at the end of the day, it could always be worse. They only charged us an hour for labor, $180 or $160 for the new tire, $450 down the drain. But again, it could always be worse. So that's kind of my story to start off the day. It wasn't ideal. It definitely put us in a bad spot for the install, because the install was already going to be an all-day thing. There was 8 guys going to this install. Mind you, I had 5 of them, myself and 4 others. So the majority of the team was with me. Additionally, we had all of our carts and moving supplies in my truck. So the 3 guys that were already on site on time didn't really have a good way to get started without us. So they did manage to find like one cart on site that they could kind of use. They started forklifting some of the semi. There was 2 semis meeting us on site. 2 full semis, so they started taking some equipment off there. Yeah, ended up being a longer day. We didn't leave the job site till 6:30-ish, something like that, 6 o'clock. And we had to send 2 guys back today to kind of finish up some stuff. But overall, it went pretty good. It was a full, there's a new Y. It's not a new Y, but they did a massive addition down there. So their existing Y is still operating, and then they did like a big addition. So we're installing the addition. It was like a 14-piece strength circuit, 14 treadmills, 9 of which are like 500 or 600 pound treadmills that we had to carry up the stairs, because we don't like to take that kind of stuff apart and go in the elevator just because the added time. Additionally, that elevator was small, and we're not even confident they would have fit very easily in the elevator. So 14 treadmills upstairs, 9 of which were the extremely heavy version. We had, a handful of ellipticals, I think 3 climb mills, 8 or so bikes, and then 2 functional trainers, 2 rigs that we had to install, which is what the guys are doing today, 2 crates of like med balls, kettlebells, dumbbells, some dumbbell racks, so it was a good size. There's actually another install that's happening at the same Y, I believe the second week of June. We will be moving a lot of their existing stuff from the Y over to this new facility, or their new addition, and then we'll be buying out the rest of their stuff, and then additionally installing more equipment, which will probably be like the squat racks and platforms and that kind of stuff. So anyways, Greene County YMCA, big job for Priority Fitness. Could always be worse, but we got her done. So that's the start of, that's a little bit of my rant or story for you guys here. Some other things that I kind of wanted to bring up and talk about. I'll stay with the topic of Priority Fitness. So Priority Fitness this year hasn't been as busy as normal, and we think there might be a couple reasons for that. Obviously, like the tariffs coming into play, and just kind of like the market as a whole, that could be a reason why some gyms aren't ordering massive amounts of stuff, just because like the shipping costs and just the uneasiness of kind of like the volatility of the market and that kind of stuff. So Priority Fitness has been inconsistently busy in a sense. We're staying busy all of the time. It's just we haven't been getting these massive installs that we like to do. Priority Fitness really relies on 2 or 3 or 4 of these bigger installs on a monthly basis if possible. They help pay the bills, and then everything else is just kind of like the cherry on top. So Priority Fitness has been kind of going back and forth. When we are not busy with customers, we actually do a lot of work for us, right? So like our Grizzly locations, whether not necessarily equipment repairs. Obviously, if there's things that need to be repaired, we try to stay on top of that all the time. But Priority Fitness will work with our gyms. Like Amro just got a new storage rig last week. It looks beautiful. It was definitely an upgrade there. Amro and Princeton have been getting like their center, like the rubber flooring projects done, which that's our Priority Fitness team. So there's been just a lot of little things like that. Equipment transfers back and forth. The guys are actually picking up 2 loads of equipment today down in Madison area. Some used product that I'm buying for our gyms, Grizzly O-Town, and maybe some other little things for some of the other gyms. So that's what Priority does when they're not busy with other customers. They work for Grizzly. And the way it works, actually, Priority Fitness will still bill our gyms. Like, it's not necessarily free work. So Priority Fitness does bill Grizzly Fitness. Grizzly Fitness will then pay them when they can. So we just kind of go just over cost. So that way Priority makes a little bit, but mainly covers expenses like payroll and such on those days. So if anybody was wondering how that worked, that is how the 2 companies interact currently. Additionally, since we've been a little bit slower, I have kind of a one-off exciting thing here. We just got offered 3 Planet Fitness, they call them like re-equips in Minnesota. So July 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, as of right now, we will be in Minnesota, back-to-back-to-back days, overnight. Install 1 is St. Paul, install 2 is St. Cloud, and install 3 is back to St. Paul area. These are Planet Fitness installs. 2 of them are cardio re-equips. 1 is a strength re-equip. I'm not too familiar what that necessarily means. They are bigger orders. There'll be bigger installs. There'll be a lot of logistics we got to figure out, like getting garbage home. It'll also be a ton of equipment in our warehouse that we'll have to figure out to accept those shipments and get that stuff built and also get that stuff out. So I can imagine it'll probably be 6-ish loads, I'd say 6 to 8 semis worth of product for these 3 jobs. So they'll be good size. Fingers crossed, they're double doors, first floor. I believe when it's a cardio re-equip, it's primarily a cardio install. But what it is a lot of these Planet Fitnesses are getting rid of kind of a row of ellipticals because ellipticals, in my opinion, are just not as used today. A lot of treadmills are being used and climb mills and bikes. So ellipticals, they reduce a row of cardio, which primarily is a lot of ellipticals. They bring in more climb mills, and they actually bring in like more Smith machines, more functional trainers, and more like free weight stuff when they do these cardio re-equips. So it will be a cardio and strength for 2 of them, and then the other one will be a strength re-equip, which will be like a full circuit, Smith machines, and kind of that stuff. So we don't have to do the extraction, just the installs on those. And an interesting fact that I learned yesterday about the Planet Fitness is when they do these, what they try to do is they try to close the Planet Fitness at like 9 p.m. the night before. They'll do the extraction of the equipment like that night. Then they will try to do a deep clean right away in the morning before we get started on the install. And then, we're there 8, 9 in the morning and we're cranking on the install. So anyways, that is what I've got for Priority Fitness updates, news. I guess another little ironic thing I'll add in there. We just spent a good amount of money getting 2 of our trailers. So we've got 3 trailers for Priority Fitness. We just spent a good amount of money getting 2 of our trailers up and running the way we want them to. The one, our open trailer, got 4 new tires. We've been kind of sanding it down and painting it a little bit. We got a new jack on it, so it's easier to, we've got like a drop jack from it, so that way it's just easier to get on and off our truck hitches. And then we also mounted the spare tire, which usually was just sitting in our warehouse, and if we remembered to grab it, we would have it. But we mounted the spare tire on the front side as well, so now it's like easy access. We can't forget the spare. And that's something that's always one of those things where when you go on long road trips, you got to make sure you got your spare, your jack. You want to be able to take care of yourself. You got the right tools to take your tire off. That's one of those little things that, like, as you grow a company, you got to do the little things right too. And they're often overlooked and they're easy to just push to a side. But so that was one major upgrade. So then our other enclosed trailer, our 8.5 by 16 enclosed, same thing. We've got we had a flat tire. We got a new tire on there. We got another spare tire for it. We're getting that spare tire mounted to the outside as well. So we're like just fixing these trailers up to the right where they're going to work better for us. And then, of course, Big Red, our big trailer that we took yesterday, we have not put any time and money into. We haven't even used it since the end of last year. It's just a bigger trailer. I don't necessarily like the guys driving around with it just because I feel like it's more of a liability. You want to be a good trailer driver or confident in yourself if you're going to drive a larger trailer like that. And of course, that's the one trailer we haven't focused a lot of time and energy on. So, of course, that's what would happen to us. So, anyways, that's my PF stuff. I've got an interesting thing that I am kind of doing. So, this kind of goes back, and we're going to be kind of all over the place here, but this kind of goes back to our carnivore diet way of things. And so, something that I've been researching a little bit that I kind of want to try out. I feel like in the last couple months, I've been kind of stagnant on body fat. I've just been kind of hanging out where I'm at. And mind you, when I started this almost a year ago, I lost body fat like very quickly. My face shrunk up, got tightened up. I could tell my arms are more defined, chest is looking better. Kind of got like the fat abs look going on. So it was very exciting in the beginning. A lot of fat loss and just feeling good. Pants fit better, all of that. So I was doing some research. I'm a big egg guy. If you guys follow me on Snapchat, you see how many eggs I eat every day. I could eat anywhere from as little as a dozen to, as many as 20, 22. Yesterday, I actually had 24 eggs. So I'm experimenting. I'm kind of going and learning as I go here, but there's what's called like an egg fast. And so I'm going to kind of take it and do how I want to do with this, but I'm going to try 2 to 3 days. So yesterday being day 1. I'm going to shoot for today and tomorrow to do an egg fast. My goal is probably 2 dozen eggs a day and then 2 protein shakes. I still have a couple hundred calories I could play with if I really need to, but I'm going to try to do an egg fast for just 3 days at a time, see how my body reacts to it. And I'll report back on it. I think when I eat eggs, I just feel like everything's working good, metabolism wise, energy wise. They're very nutrient dense, but they're highly bioavailable, so you can use them very well. But they do lack complete nutrients and vitamins and stuff. So it's not good to do this long term. I do take a lot of vitamins and supplements myself, so that's not the biggest concern. But red meat is very nutrient and mineral dense, so that's why people say on the carnivore diet that you could get away with just eating red meat, and your body will get the vitamins and minerals that it needs. So we're going to do an egg fast the next 3 days, or the next 2 days technically, and 2 protein shakes, and see how it goes. I'll report back. Aside from that, I am debating, depending on how my body reacts to this, I may also in the future introduce what's called a carb refeed day. This would be for those who plateau on the carnivore. It's something that you can introduce, and again, it's all trial and error to everybody. Everybody's different, so you have to learn your body. I recommend doing a 30-day strict carnivore and then reintroducing one food that you really want or miss, and then see how your body reacts to it. Introduce that food for a week. If you're getting less quality sleep or you're more sore after workouts, you take that food back out and you try a new one. So that's kind of the very base protocol that I would recommend. I haven't done a whole lot of experimenting on things that I want to reintroduce. I love eggs and I love meat, so I've just been kind of sticking to that. But I may introduce what's called a carb refeed day. So my goal would be to intake 200 grams of carb one day, every 7 to 10 days. I might just try it like one time and see how my body reacts. It helps restore your glycogen. It may help with sleep. I don't know a ton about it, but basically I would have good carbs, being like sweet potatoes, maybe white rice, and honey. Those are kind of like the 3 that I would stick to. I might reintroduce that to try to get 200 grams of carbs in a single day, and then I wouldn't touch carbs again and just see if that kind of basically kickstarts the fat loss again. So it'd be interesting. I will update you guys when and if I do try that. I'm also going to be kind of playing around with kind of bringing avocados in a little bit more, which again isn't strict carnivore, but I like avocados, so I'd like to kind of introduce those as well. So that's my update on what I will be doing with that. I also forgot to mention, so regarding the protein shakes that I'm currently taking, I've got a couple. I kind of like to make my own stuff. So one of the options that I do is I've got a all natural like beef protein, which I've had 2 really good ones now. I think one is called Be Well, and the other one is Equip. proteins or Equip, something like that. They both taste great. They're very minimal ingredients and no additives and all natural. And so I've messed around with those. They are more expensive, you know, 50, 60 bucks a bag. So I don't love that aspect. But what I would do is I would grab those. And then I also got some egg protein from Now Foods off of Amazon. So I got a big 5-pound tub of that. So I'll throw like 1 scoop of that in. And then I'll do 1 scoop of my grass-fed beef protein. I will mix in like a scoop of whey or a half a scoop of whey if I want. And I do have a collagen protein as well. I can't remember the brand, but if you type in collagen protein, it's kind of like the number one that pops up on Amazon. White and blue container. So I'll kind of do a mixture of that. It's usually a high protein shake. It'll be 60 to 80 grams of protein. And then I also, in case if I do a lot of unflavored, so like my egg protein and my collagen protein are both unflavored. My whey protein, I also have unflavored, but I also have a vanilla. And then my Be Well is also vanilla. So depending on how much unflavored stuff I do versus the vanilla, I will also throw in a 1 tablespoon of the powdered peanut butter, the sugar-free powdered peanut butter, whatever that brand is called, the very generic one you can get at Walmart or Amazon. Adds a really good peanut butter flavor. I do notice the peanut butter, you know, the peanut butter is made to like kind of chunk up. So like at the end of your drink, sometimes there's like what I feel like is maybe chunks from like the peanut butter aspect, but it adds a great flavor to it. The vanilla peanut butter is awesome. So that is what I like to do for my protein shakes currently. But I've actually introduced another protein because of who I met, I think 2 Mondays ago. Those of you who are into the UFC, there's a fighter called TJ Dillashaw. He was local the other day at Milk Specialties. He gets some of his product from there. And I had the opportunity to meet him. And so I just got to talk to him for 10 to 15 minutes. He's got a really cool brand called Wild Society Nutrition. He believes in no additives like sucralose. And so generally his product's pretty clean. I like it. And so if you guys have heard of the protein, I believe called, is it Seek? Is it Seek? SEEQ or something like that? It's like a clear protein isolate where it tastes like juice. So I think it's like clear whey. I don't know. I'm not a big guy on all of this stuff, but it is a kind of like a hot thing right now where like protein isn't chunky. It's not vanilla. It's not chocolate. It's not strawberry. It's actually like a juice protein. So it's got a bunch of different flavors, and Seek is like the big one that everybody knows. So TJ went out and made one that is more of an all natural, less additives, and so he's got like a lemon lime, which I've tried, and it's really good. And the nice thing is so I've explained to you guys how I use a 42-ounce Yeti, and I throw a pack of Element in there, an Element salt packet, and that's what I do 2 to 3 times a day. And so I get much more. I get over a gallon of water in a day, and the flavored water really helps. And a lot of people like flavor in their life, as far as soda, maybe the carbonation, whatever it is. There's kind of an addiction there. Chewing gum, just having that flavor aspect in the mouth. So what I started doing was I took this Wild Society protein, the clear protein, and I'm actually going to try it with my 42-ounce or something similar, like a 30-ounce water bottle. But you can take like literally 1 scoop, throw it in. I've done like 26 or 28 ounces of water, my big glass water bottle, and the flavor is consistent. It tastes good. It gives you like another flavor you can drink, and it's 90 calories and it's another 20 grams of protein. Super easy. You can just throw it on your desk and just kind of sip on it. Throw some ice in there, and it's just a nice, happy, medium flavor option. So I just recently got the citrus punch, which also tastes great. The lemon lime solid. I haven't tried the other 2 flavors. I think it's got like a rocket pop and one other one. But I met TJ Dillashaw. I got to talk to him for 15 minutes. Super cool dude. He was a UFC champ back in 2015, and then I believe again in 2019. He was like a 135 pounder. Again, getting to meet somebody like that that's been on a much larger stage than you is just a cool aspect. I've never really been starstruck. I've never really met somebody extremely famous. I don't really get the feeling that I need to go out and meet those people, but it is very cool now that I have done it, it's very cool to meet somebody like that. Even these authors that I've been meeting at these last 2 trips in Maryland and Outer Banks. And I also met Tim Grover a little bit too at one of the events last year in Chicago. So it's just cool to meet and interact with these people. You get a picture with them. TJ I talked to for about 10, 15 minutes. We talked about his product. We talked about my gym locations. We talked about getting his product in our gym locations and becoming a wholesaler with them. So that is something we're working on as well. So I don't have a whole lot to say. We got to shake hands. He got to ask me some questions. I got to ask him some questions. He actually started this brand last July. It's doing great. Super happy for him. I plan on kind of reconnecting with him as well. But look into it. Wild Society Nutrition. They also have like a normal whey protein as well. That's kind of like I think they brand it with like, it's like a superfood with mushrooms and all this stuff in it. The vanilla tastes great. I'm a big vanilla guy, but I'm sure the chocolate tastes good too. So TJ Dillashaw, super cool opportunity there. So yeah, the last thing that I kind of wanted to talk about, as you guys know, it was my birthday on Monday of this week, May 19th. I am now 27 years old. I've got to take some time to reflect on kind of some goals that I'd like to accomplish for the year 27. I do know that I really want to get more into real estate, and we've got real estate obviously, but I would like to, this year potentially look at buying a home. The last 5 years, I feel like the market's been all over the place. You don't know what's going to go on. You don't know what interest rates are doing. Obviously, during COVID, interest rates were great, but a lot of people I feel like are always waiting, right? Like waiting for the price to come down, waiting for the interest rates to come down, waiting for this, waiting for that. There's always an excuse, but you can't really count on what the market's going to do. It's very volatile right now. Again, the tariffs, everything else that's kind of going on in the world and the market. I just think if you want to buy, you should buy now. I don't know that, real estate prices are going to continue to go up, but I'm not a real estate expert, so I'm just kind of throwing that out there. So this year, I would like to potentially buy a home. I would like to buy several homes. I'm very interested in single family. I'm also very interested in multifamily. Multifamily technically isn't until you get after 4 families who can live in a home, but to me, multifamily is anything more than one. So duplexes, tris, quads, apartment buildings, all that stuff's cool. I'd like to learn more about it this year, the year of 27. I'd like to research real estate a little bit more. I'd also like to get into real estate with my guys, people on my team that have been around for a long time. I always try to think of how we can produce more income for my team. I always want to put my team first. I want them to make the money that they want to make. When somebody comes to me and they want to work with me and they say, my goal someday is to do this, whether it's a physical goal or an income goal. Hey, I want to make 6 figures someday. Like, that's my goal. If I can do that, I'll be happy. Hey, I want to own a home and I want to do this or that. Like, once they put those goals in my head, they also become goals of myself. And until I help achieve those goals, until I see that individual achieve those goals, I almost feel like I haven't been successful, right? So there's things that I do that show success or seem successful to everybody else on the outside, but really, I want my team to succeed to the next level. I want to see them achieve all the things they want. And so a lot of the times when I stay up at night and I can't, not necessarily when I can't sleep, but when I'm thinking at night in the office, when I'm setting goals, I'm really thinking about everybody else's goals on my team. And I feel like that's very important as a leader. I just really care about my team and I want to see them succeed. So one of my goals since I've been in business, 18, 19, 20 years old, has always been to take my team to the top, whatever it takes. So if we can create additional revenue streams, if we can invest in laundromats, apartment complexes, anything like that, car washes, right? Anything like that, I would love to do that and get my team basically a portfolio to make money. And now I'm just kind of talking out loud. I'm not saying this is going to happen tomorrow or the next day, but that is really one of my end goals, is to build more revenue, more income for those guys. Now, the gyms and Priority Fitness, like the gyms primarily, that's almost more of a passion project, right? And it's not a passion project. The definition of a passion project would be like not even necessarily a side hustle, but something that you're doing just for the love of it, which is why we do the gyms, but it is a full-time thing as well, right? So a passion project is more, you've done it, you've made it. Now, what can I retire and work on, or what can I do for fun, right? I rebuild old cars on the side, and it's not really a full-time gig. I just do it for the love of it or whatever. I train dogs on the side, whatever. So the gyms I consider kind of a passion project, but it's also a full-time thing, and it's creating careers for individuals. And the gyms are there to create stronger communities, to give back to the smaller communities they're not seen, they're overlooked. The drive-through towns, like, that's really our goal and our mission behind the gyms, is to give back to small communities and allow these small communities to be healthy and give them a place and something to do other than the local bar and restaurant that most small towns have. So with that being said, I was just trying to clarify the gyms aren't necessarily just a revenue product. It is more of it is a community, it is a passion, and it's a love, and that's why we do it. But the real estate and all of those things would be kind of more investments and working on that. So I have to reflect on what 27 really brings, what all I personally want to accomplish, but I know I would really love to start building a portfolio for myself, my team, figuring out additional revenue sources, and continue growing this podcast will obviously be another one. So I'd like to kind of think about that, maybe get back to you guys on that as well, but that's what I've got. That's kind of where my head's at. So hopefully you guys enjoyed today's episode. Kind of was all over the place, talked about a lot of different topics and a lot of different things. My name is Colton Burt. I am now 27 years old. We own 4 pieces of real estate, 6 gym locations, and 1 fitness equipment install and repair company. My Snapchat is where I post the most, Colton.Burt, Colton .Burt. Instagram and Facebook, Colton Burt 19. Otherwise, just search me on there, Colton Burt. We really do appreciate you guys. We really do ask that you guys help share the show. Tell your friends, tell your family. Tell us what you want to hear. Give us feedback. Give us, 5 stars on whatever platform you're listening to. Do what you can for us. Help us grow this. I promise you, we'll get to the video aspect soon. We'll get to the guest interviews soon. Really get diving deep into those stories. We'll be getting more reels out, more content as a whole. So, again, appreciate you guys. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.